Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am driving this. This is the new Honda City. It says CBU here somehow. Any which ways, let's open the engine bay right away. And this is the new Earth Dreams Technology VTEC motor. As you can see, the engine actually looks very nice indeed. And the engine bay is actually completely occupied. There's insulation right there as well. And of course, the motor is such a sweet one indeed. Anyways, coming to the design of the car, it will definitely remind you of the Accord and Honda's new design language because it looks very different from before but gets typical Honda elements including a massive chrome grille right there in the center, of course Honda's logo and some sporty bits as well on the bumper. Let's come to the lights. The lights are all LEDs, and when I say all LEDs, they are completely LEDs because the headlight, the indicator as well as the fog lamps are complete LEDs, but it does not get a projector setup. So this is actually the DRL of the vehicle. The lights look beautiful and of course it will remind you of the Civic as well as the Accord. In fact, it reminds me of the Accord to a great extent. This is of course the towing hook of the vehicle, and in the silver color it kind of looks really nice and I definitely like the design of the car. In fact, it's longer, it's wider, but the height has been reduced of the new City when compared to the 4th generation model. Coming to the side, you actually don't realize that the car has gone bigger in terms of size. It gives you that essence of a Toyota Yaris somehow. So yes, while the size has become bigger, it really doesn't come across like that. It still looks compact somehow. Meanwhile, the wheels are a little underwhelming on this vehicle. Not in terms of size. Size is fine, 16 inches, but it's the same size tire, 185, 55, 16. Yeah, it needs wider rubber for sure. It gets a diamond cut treatment and obviously, you know, the wheels look really nice. So do the mirrors as well. In fact, they're not joined to the body, again for better visibility and improves the aesthetic appeal as well. So from the side, car looks really sleek, really nice. You get those lines, cuts, creases, which we've so much expected from Honda now. And you've got chrome door handles as well. Now the good thing is request sensor is on both the sides, and you just put your hand inside and it will unlock the car. You don't need to press that button, although the button is still there. Black colored B pillar, clean roof as such. That is the sunroof. There's a shark fin antenna that will remind you of BMW, but what will remind you of BMW even further are the tail lights because they're kind of BMW-ish. Yeah, you know, this L shape might remind you of BMW cars. Now this is not a fake diffuser, but there's a reflector given here, and obviously you've got rear parking sensors. There is the reverse parking camera of the vehicle, and it says ZX, which is the top trim VTEC, which happens to be the petrol model, and says City on the left side as well. This car is so popular, it doesn't need any of the badges as such. In fact, it doesn't even need VTEC badges because if it's a diesel, you can definitely hear it. So as you can see, the design of the City has become sleeker, but yes, you know, it's somehow more in line with what we expect from Japanese car makers. It's not like as striking as the 4th generation, which has that arrow shaped design. Any which ways, there's another interesting bit right here, which is the lane watch camera, which is positioned right there. Alrighty. And I think, yeah, it's a little dirty. That's why the reception wasn't the best as such. Coming to the boot of the vehicle, yeah, just press a button and there the boot opens. The boot size is actually decent enough, and the spare wheel isn't a space saver. Yeah, it's a full size spare wheel, 185, 55, 16 with an alloy wheel. So no cost cutting there. Kudos Honda. Boot carrying capacity is decent. In fact, it's big enough, 506 liters or so. Okay, where's the light placement? Yeah, the light is placed right there, and you know, they could have designed it better to have some storage space inside. Anyways, here you go. Car feels light. It is actually light. Build quality is good. It's not the best as such because things feel on the lighter side. Hyundai cars actually feel slightly heavier. It is actually lighter than a Verna. Door pockets are big enough at the rear, and the wheelbase has been retained at 2600 mm, which means that the rear seat space, which is the City's USP, has been retained. There is good amount of space on offer. In fact, there is plenty of space on offer, which can be seen right here. And the floor is almost flat as well, and because the cabin is now wider, 3 people can actually sit in comfortably. Honda has done a smart thing by offering 3 headrests, but unfortunately these are all fixed headrests. Yeah, they're not adjustable headrests, they are fixed. And here we've got a center armrest with twin cup holders too. So to make it comfortable for 3 people, firstly it is wide enough, but this will kind of pinch the back of the person who sits in the middle, and this is also a bit raised as such. However, the other issue I'm having is the fact that, you know, this seat doesn't fold forward, so you can't increase the boot carrying capacity of this car. But that said, the good bit here is that, you know, the center passenger also gets a proper seat belt, and you see they've done this mechanism for a proper seat belt. which is again a very nice thing. Now you've got a sun blind at the rear. It's a manual sun blind, but again, it's a very nice touch, and there are lights here, and I love the way the lights work. You just push them and that's how they work. They're not shutting because the door is open right now. So what you're going to do is we're going to sit inside and we're going to shut the door. There it shuts. Yeah, window area is large enough. There's a handle here. There's a handle and hook on the other side, which is a nice touch. And I was talking to you about the lights. Just press it like this and that's how it shuts. You got this gloss black finish on the lights as well, which again looks pretty nice. Again, LEDs, rear AC vents, and there are 2 power outlets. Yeah, they are not USBs, but 12-volt charging outlets. USB would have been a real nice touch. There's good amount of space on offer. There's good amount of knee room. In fact, they didn't have to scoop out the seat back. There's a magazine holder with a separate compartment here too, which is again a nice thing. Meanwhile, I mean, obviously there's good amount of space on offer. The front seat's a little slimmer than before, which means there's a little bit more space. Headroom is decent enough. My head is not touching, which is a good thing. Under thigh support is better than average. Could have been better for sure. That's always an issue for tall passengers. Anyways, let me just remove this, and here, super comfortable at the rear. This is the beauty of the Honda City. It is a driver's delight, yet it has got so much comfort on offer. Now the dashboard of this car is all new, which means that it's a departure from the old asymmetrical dashboard design, which is both a good and bad thing. We will come to that in a bit. Quality levels are really nice. You see, this is a soft touch material which has been placed everywhere, but hard touch plastics are there in plenty as well. But Honda has done a good balance. This car obviously has 6 airbags. It's got plenty of safety tech, including ABS, EBD, brake assist, vehicle stability control, and whatnot. In fact, it has got something known as agile handling assist too. Isofix child seat mounts, obviously, at the rear. So yes, the rear seat gets a big thumbs up from my side. Let's come to the front and see what the City has to offer. And coming to the front, let me tell you straight away that I'm not a big fan of the conventional dashboard design which Honda has opted for now. Because the old one had a character of its own. Now it looks very conventional. Even the instrument cluster is very conventional. We'll come to that in a bit. Door pockets are large enough at the front. These are the controls for the power windows. These are the controls for the power windows. And you know what is the best thing? One touch up and down. Yes, that's right. Honda has opted for a one touch up down, which is super cool. That's something which all cars should get. And these are obviously the controls for the mirrors. You can press a button to shut the mirrors if you want. And when you lock the car, obviously automatically the mirrors also shut. This is to adjust the outside rear view mirrors. This is to lock or unlock the door. The disappointing part here is that the seats do not get any electric adjust whatsoever, although the seats are very comfortable, very nice and supportive as well. But electric adjust for the driver is something which should have been there. This is to open the boot of the vehicle. This is to open the engine bay. This is to open the fuel cap. And there is a dead pedal right there as well. The storage space here, it's a small storage. And this is the button for the traction control. This is for the headlight leveler, and 2 dummy buttons just in case you want to put nitrous oxide, and you can press the button to activate nitrous. And just kidding right there. But seats are really comfortable, really nice. Front headrests are obviously adjustable. Rear one should have been adjustable too. This is the button for the lane watch. You press this button, lane watch gets activated. Other than that, when you obviously give a left indicator, lane watch gets activated, turning off the hazard light. So the dashboard design is actually very conventional. It will grow on you with time, but there's some premium bits as well. You see the surrounds for the AC vents, really nice. Knurled finish on the air conditioning controls. And earlier it was touch controls, but now they have given physical controls, which is again looking at feedback, because this is so much more intuitive to operate. Okay, this is to increase the airflow, and this is to change the mode where you want the air to come. And this is obviously for the temperature. So climate control, air conditioning. I love these dials. They feel so premium to operate, but I'm a bit disappointed with this system. First and foremost, this is an 8-inch unit. Okay, the overall display is nice. It's slick to use and all that for sure as well. But what's the issue with this system? The issue is that there is no physical control. So for the volume, you have to keep pressing it. That is a bit of an issue. I would have liked a physical control for the volume, because that just makes it easy. However, this system is a big leap over the old one, because it not only gets Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, it also gets Honda's connected car tech with 32 features, including remote start on automatic variants. Okay, automatic variant, there's only one automatic variant, which is a cool thing. Obviously, it's very nice and slick to use, pretty good. I love the reverse parking camera. Here we go into reverse. Now remember one thing, reverse is right here, okay, because it has 6 gears. For the next to 6th, there is the reverse gear. Now, as you can see, yeah, the display actually, the light is not varying automatically. It varies if you turn on the light. So they should have put a sensor to vary the light for both this as well as the instrument cluster, because when I turn it on, okay, the instrument cluster remains the same, but this display changes its color according, like the brightness according to if the light is on or not. Right now I just wanted to show you the lights, so I turned it on, so it thought that it's night, so it dimmed this display. Okay, this is the reverse parking camera which I was showing you. Again, we'll get into reverse. This is the reverse parking camera. It's got 3 views, and it is very useful to have the top view because you exactly know when you're parking. And obviously it's got guidelines, but unfortunately the guidelines are not adaptive, which is not the case with other cars in this segment. That said, let's quickly open the glove box. The glove box is decent size but doesn't get a cooling function. Okay, this medical aid box is there. It can easily fit inside, so it's decent size in that sense. And this premium touch is there in terms of soft touch plastic and leather, which is again nice even here. However, hard plastics are there on the dashboard, which don't really catch your eye as such, but a lot of premium bits inside this car. I love the fact how the air conditioning controls have been done. The system also feels really nice and slick. Only physical controls should have been there. There's storage space here, so you can keep your phone right there. Twin USBs and a power outlet as well. And when you come down, there are twin cup holders too. So in terms of space, there's plenty of it. In fact, there's space here as well, and there's space right there too. Below the front center armrest, which doesn't happen to be sliding, there's storage space below too. So that's really nice. 6 airbag, like I told you. It says side curtain airbag. And here you obviously get a mirror, but you don't get a light. And I don't understand why there are 2 buttons for this. This button, I was like, I'll press this, something will come, a light will pop out from somewhere. No, that does not happen. Same is the case here as well. You get those 2 buttons, and obviously you get a light too. I love the whole finishing of the car because this dual tone black and beige treatment with wood inserts does come out nice. In fact, the seats also very nice, well done. Love the stitching as well, comfortable, and the leather is also well done. So let's just close this and then open the sunroof. So in order to open the sunroof, well, you just press a button like this and there opens the sunroof. The sunroof is obviously big enough, and rather I would say for a single sunroof it is big enough, although now everyone's doing panoramic roof as well. There you go. That's how it closes. Brings in a lot of airy feeling inside the cabin. The cabin itself is quite airy in the real sense, thanks to the colors which have been done. Auto dimming inside rear view mirror. This is obviously for the door light. In case you open the door, the lights will come on. And like I told you, at the rear, how the lights are done, same as the way at the front as well. Really cool, really nice, really bright too. Steering is all new too, and it's a nice 3-spoke unit. Good to hold. Lovely stitching here on the sides. A lot of buttons. This is actually for the cruise control button, and you know what, you can increase or decrease the intensity of the cluster with this button which is placed here. So you can increase the intensity and you can decrease the intensity. Now the disappointing part is that this instrument cluster happens to be very similar to the one which you have seen on the Amaze, which is like a step backwards when compared to the 4th generation of the Honda City, which has a real kick-ass cluster with nice lights too, sort of blue treatment. Actually not sort of, proper blue treatment, bluish, purplish, whatever you want to call it. But this one feels little disappointing in comparison because it feels so plain and basic. But you know what? It is actually an analog digital unit. You might be thinking just an analog unit. It's not. It's both a mix of analog and digital. So this is an analog unit. You see the dial is a physical one. This is a digital one because using this button here, you can browse through what all information it has to offer. Right now I'm in tachometer. I can browse through range and fuel, and you can see all that information right there. So a lot of information on offer. So yes, in the old City they had a 3rd dial on the rightmost side which gave you all that information. Now this one does that job here. Only thing is it eats into my tachometer space, which I'm a little disappointed in. Distance to empty, average fuel consumption as well, and all that information comes here. It's saying 7.4 kilometers per liter when we have been redlining the car. Otherwise in real world it should return between 10 to 14 kilometers per liter. You can see speed and time too, and I love the effect when you change something, you know, how the way it flips. It's also got a G-force meter, which is the coolest thing ever. And that's not all. You can get into settings. You can also customize the display. Lot of stuff in this instrument cluster, which is kind of nice. I love it. Okay, so yes, most people don't know that it is actually a digital mix. It's a mix of digital and analog, and you can see all these settings right there. In fact, you can turn on information to no current information to offer. I would just leave it at tachometer alone because I just want to see the meter go all the way, spinning the motor like crazy. Now here you've got a digital speedometer with white on the top because right now the car is idling, but when you're driving normally, when you're driving efficiently, it turns green. And on the right we've got a speedometer. In fact, let me just turn off the car. So this is the engine start button and it glows red, which is nice. Yeah, there it shuts. It shows the Honda logo. Now when we turn on the car, okay, because there is the swipe, it does a full swipe up. And I love the way, you know, the left one, okay, it's telling me fasten seatbelt, which is again very coolly done. But if I open the door, there, it's showing me exactly which door is open as well. So it's very well done. Only thing is, you know, BMW and Honda both are going step back in terms of the aesthetics of the instrument cluster. That's a lot of talk on the instrument cluster, which brings me to these buttons. This is for the volume control. This is for phone call. This is to accept. This is to decline. This is for voice commands. And this is to change the source of the audio medium. Meanwhile, this scroller is for that multi-information display on the left. It's got a 7-inch multi-information display, Meanwhile, you've got automatic headlights and you've got automatic wipers too. Let's use the wipers right away. Good amount of spray on offer. Okay, it's got 2 nozzles throwing 4 sprays and works well to clean the car in no time at all. I love the steering on offer. In fact, the horn is a little meek, I would say. Meanwhile, the fuel level meter is on the lower side, and this is obviously the odometer, and here we've got a temperature meter too. So I think the meter could have been a little bit more adventurous. Now coming to this system, like I told you, it is loaded with a lot of tech now. Definitely it's much more advanced than before, and audio quality is also decent. Let's play a radio right away. Audio quality is decent, definitely, and I would say it's better than average for sure. The car also gets a tire pressure monitoring system along with ambient lighting and hands-free trunk release. So in terms of practicality, yes, the cabin is nice, plenty of storage spaces, and the steering is adjustable both for reach as well as rake, which is again a nice touch. But how is it to drive? Is there still the Honda magic? Well, let's get going. Alright, we are driving the car right now, and it's a different type of a start in second gear, and I'm going to take the car over some rough roads. So as you can see, ride quality has definitely improved. The city feels so much more composed on bad roads. Yes, it does move around a bit, but the suspension is now on the softer side, and this road is so bad now. We all are shaking all over the place. Of course, the ride quality is very good, but not Hyundai level good, because the suspension, although on the softer side, isn't still very soft. Anyways, as you can see, the engine is super refined. You can barely hear anything inside the cabin. That's the level of refinement on offer, and the steering is super easy to twirl as well. I mean, this is an extremely light, yet it does weigh up and give feedback as well. Steering wheel is actually very nice indeed, and this engine, it's an all new engine. It's very responsive. Part throttle inputs, it does respond. So we have some really bad roads up ahead, and let me tell you one thing, that the ground clearance is ample enough. No issue on that front. Meanwhile, here we go, a little bit of rough road, no problemo. The city actually takes everything in its stride without any issue whatsoever. But you know, because the suspension is on the softer side, at higher speeds the car gets a bit bouncy over bad roads only. But for the most part, let me tell you that the high speed stability is absolutely brilliant on the new city. So they have worked on the suspension, softened it, made it better, more compliant as such. And this platform is the same as before. I think they have modified it. So it's not an all new platform, it's a rework platform, because if it ain't broke, why fix it? But the engine is all new, huh? The engine is all new. It comes from Duniya Ke Sapne platform, Earth Dreams technology. And right now on path throttle, everything feels so good, so refined, so smooth, no issues whatsoever. Like, I am short shifting. We are in 4th gear already at 40 kilometers per hour. The motor is silent, yet it picks up pace. So drivability is good, it's drivable, it's good in town as well, and feels more responsive than before for sure. In fact, if I get into the throttle, I'm full on the throttle, we are in 4th gear. Look at the way it's picking up pace. That is a very nice, very smooth. Everything will be smooth and refined till the time VTEC kicks in you, and once that happens, the VTEC magic will obviously come into play. So there you see, now it's starting to get vocal. So around 3000 RPM it starts to get vocal, and beyond 3000 RPM, once you get near 5, 6 and all, so it gets even more vocal as such. Now what we're going to do is, we are going to put the car directly into 6th gear. 6th gear, around 100 kilometers per hour. Just see how refined the motor is. It's ticking around 2500 RPM, and it just feels so easy and so at home as well. Let's do one thing. Let's actually change this meter from tachometer to G meter, which is the G-force meter, and there it changes. So basically inside we are getting the G-forces, because we are going to feel a lot of G-forces going ahead. Just hold on to a bit. Traction control is already turned off from the start, because who needs traction control? But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to turn on traction control. You have to keep this button pressed and demonstrate something to you. So it says vehicle stability assist on. I'm going to demonstrate something very important to you. Right now everything feels so refined, very cool, very well judged as well. And just imagine you're going out on the highway, you're driving at 100 kilometers per hour in 6th gear, there's no tension, people in the car, everyone's sleeping, and all of a sudden something bites you. The VTEC bug bites you. What do? You click the, it's not click, it's press the light clutch and shift into 3rd on the well-weighed gearbox, and there you bang open the throttle, and holy moly, that is what I'm talking talking about the VTEC magic is absolutely there in the new city as well. And to demonstrate this, what we are going to do is we are going to start and we are going to launch with traction control, without traction control, just to show you how potent the engine is and how under tired this car is. What is this VTEC magic? Okay, this is the lane watch which comes into play as soon as you give an indicator, left indicator that is, because on the left side there's a camera, but the overall resolution isn't as great, especially when you compare it to the CRV. I think it's a little inferior camera, but does the job nonetheless. Here we are right now. Alrighty, that's the moment you have been waiting for. Left foot on the clutch, right foot is on the brake right now. And we are in first gear. We're going to rev the motor. So I'm revving it. Rev still almost 5000 RPM. Traction control is on. Hear this. Oh my god, 7000 RPM, goes above 7000 RPM, goes all the way 105 kilometers per hour in second gear itself. This goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in under 10 seconds. And I tell you, this engine is so fab. It's so much punch on offer and such a soul as well. It hits almost 7200 RPM. That is the VTEC magic with the Honda City. Now we are going to turn off traction control, keeping this button pressed. Okay, it's off. Into first gear. Listen to this, guys. Listen to this. Revving the motor. All the way, it wheel spins to glory. That is the amount of wheel spin on offer. It just loves to spin its wheels because the VTEC motor has so much oomph on offer. And unfortunately, the tires are a little bit on the smaller side. So in terms of braking performance, yes, the brakes are strong. ABS is well calibrated. But even with ABS, the tires actually screech on heavy braking. That is the way the tires have been done on this car in the interest of fuel efficiency. What is the result? The tires are actually 10 mm smaller than the Hyundai Verna. Yet fuel efficiency numbers are almost the same. This car runs a 40-liter fuel tank. And the motor becomes very vocal in the high end, but doesn't feel thrashy like before. So yes, it's less raw. The earlier VTEC motor was obviously rawer. I don't think there is a word known as rawer, but the older engine was more raw. This isn't. Now this is an all-new engine. 1cc up in displacement, and here we are into fourth gear. 1cc up in displacement, but it's from the Earth Dream technology. It gets twin cam setup, which is a first for the city in India, which is basically DOHC, and it gets VTC and of course iVTEC as well, which is variable valve timing, electronic lift control, and my goodness, there's a separate characteristics. That high-end pull from a Honda engine, the high revving nature and the madness in the top end is absolutely there in the new city as well, which is such a good thing. In fact, you know what I really love about this car is the fact that it's eager to change direction because it's a light car. It just weighs 1153 kgs, which is actually lighter than the Hyundai Verna as well. But the only issue is, okay, let's brake. There we go. Stops sure-footedly. Here we are. Let me turn on the lane watch monitor. Into first gear, revving the motor. First gear, 59 kilometers per hour. This reminds me of the first generation Honda City. It really pulls. It goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in under 10 seconds. That's how blisteringly quick the new City is, which puts a big smile on your face. But not all is good, because there's a small problem here, and that problem lies with the steering wheel. Yes, it offers you feedback, but unfortunately, in spite of all the feedback on offer, in the center head position like this, there's some slack. You can see that slack. There's some slack here. It doesn't feel as responsive and connected, and because obviously the suspension is on the softer side, there's some amount of body roll on offer as well. So I would say the 4th generation City feels more tied down somehow, but this one is more comfortable and strikes a better balance between ride and handling for sure, without a doubt. So that said, the gearbox is really smooth shifting. It's so slick. The clutch is super light as well, and everything in this car seems to be focused around the driver. But because of the softer suspension setup, unfortunately, it still, doesn't have that rawness in the steering, neither in terms of sound as well. Yeah, it is vocal beyond a point, but it doesn't feel as raw as the older City. Here we are. Now to demonstrate this VTEC motor's madness, here we're going to open the window a bit into a tunnel. Okay, this is no V8, but still we'll try our luck. Here we go, first gear. Yeah, it could have been a little bit more raw, I would say. However, the thing is that Honda's obviously, refined the motor further. Actually, this is an all-new engine, but it's very refined, it's very smooth, and just feels so good in the way it performs, without a doubt. This is a car which still has a soul without a freaking doubt. This car produces 121 PS of power at 6,600 RPM and the same 145 Newton meters at 4,300 RPM. But there's an increase of power by around 2 bhp. That's it. Just 2 bhp increase in power. Which brings me to the elephant in the room. The 1 liter turbo petrol VTEC motor, which is offered in Southeast Asian markets. Why is it not offered in India? Now I'll tell you the whole basics of that engine. Okay, that comes with the City RS. And it is a 1 liter unit, 3-cylinder, produces around same power but much more torque, obviously, because it's a turbo petrol direct injection motor with VTEC. Alrighty. But you know what? It's not going to be brought to India because Honda doesn't want to give us a turbo, obviously, because they think it's going to be more expensive. But Hyundai is doing it, and they are offering turbo with the Verna. They're offering it with so many cars actually. But you know what Honda thinks? This naturally aspirated engine can hold on to its own. And can it? Well, to understand that, firstly I'm going to get into 6th gear. Okay, this engine has a dual characteristic. At one side, it's smooth, it's refined, it's calm, it's just silent. It doesn't care a jack about making you aware that you're driving a car with VTEC power. But when you feel the need, and you will definitely feel the need for speed if you're buying a city, all you need to do is downshift. Okay, right now we're driving so calmly. In fact, this is green right now. Above the digital speedometer you can see it's green. It'll turn white as soon as I get into the throttle because it's like a efficiency meter or something. We are in 2nd gear and off we go. Boy, oh boy, it wakes up and thrusts ahead with so much enthusiasm that I have to say this. I'm sorry for this word, but turbos. This VTEC motor is OMG. Wow, what an engine, what a powertrain, what absolute joy, thrill and fun. But the reason for the turbo is that in certain countries, I think there is a tax rule that if your engine is producing less than 100 kilogram of CO2 per kilometer, then you will get excise benefits. I think some tax benefits 8%, 20% normally, and it drops by 8% to 12% if your car is producing less than 100 grams per kilometer, which happens to be the case with the City RS. With the 1 liter turbo, it produces 99 grams per kilometer, resulting in lesser tax and more aggressive pricing. But no such thing in India, so I think Honda is not interested to get the turbo. But the VTEC is itself so brilliant. You know, we can get an RS variant of this car without a doubt, because it just feels so eager. It feels so amazing to drive. The city's magic is not lost. Only I wish that the steering would have been better. I mean, yes, it's responsive, without a doubt. It offers you feedback. It doesn't feel lifeless, but in the center head position, I mean, there's a lot of slack, and there is body roll. Suspension is on the softer side, and that soft suspension has an issue at high speeds because the car itself is light, which means that if you're going over bad roads, it gets a little bouncy as such, but for the most part, I have little to complain. In fact, what I really love about the car is stop. Okay, let's test the brakes. No, we should not. Here we go. Absolutely sure-footed, and emergency light turned on. Neha, are you fine? My bag fell down. Into 1st gear, revving the motor. That was my mistake, trust me on this. This car's gearbox is so slick. You would never miss a gear. You would never run into a wrong shift. That's how smooth it is. That's how refined it is. What a brilliant engine. Absolutely maddeningly phenomenal, this VTEC motor. I only wonder what would happen if we get the turbo VTEC 1.5 in India and the city. I know that would be an overkill. It would be just too powerful for the city, considering that at the end of the day, this is a car which has to appeal to a wide range of audience, right? From youngsters to middle-aged people and elders, seniors, people who have retired. This car has to appeal to almost everybody, which is a big responsibility on the city. But it's held on to its ground in the past 20 years, been dethroned a couple of times due to new competition, more aggressive pricing, and Honda is obviously going to price this at a premium without a doubt, because the 4th generation City itself was priced at a premium, dare I say it, overpriced. So this one obviously will cost a lot more because of all the changes, all new dashboard, new design language, new engine and whatnot. Okay, we get a 6-speed gearbox right now. Earlier we used to get a 5-speed gearbox, and as far as the powertrain goes, I have no complaints. The ride is also good. Handling could have been sharper. I don't think people really exploit the handling, and people who do probably will opt for wider tires, and then they can obviously make other changes to the car as well. That said, the Honda City has been at the top of its game almost with every generation, and this one is going to be no different. because it's a fab car. What a car, what an engine. My personal choice is this petrol manual without a doubt. If you're buying a city, get a petrol manual, period. If you're buying a diesel, well, there are other options. We will obviously do a separate vlog on the diesel as well as the CVT too. In fact, I was driving both these cars earlier today, and I'm going to shoot the vlog right next after this. On the city, here's the thing, because the car is light, if there's heavy wind, it affects it, but high speed stability is really very nice. And the best part is this dual characteristics. How VTEC makes such a big difference is when you're driving it normally, like right now I'm driving it normally, absolutely cool, absolutely calm. There's nothing which you can feel as such. Yes, a little bit of movement here and there on bad roads, so the car doesn't love bad roads as such, but it's not stiff enough to rattle you to the bone. That's also a good thing. So the balance is nice, and it's so easy to drive this car. This car is absolutely easy to drive, absolutely easy to park, and that's where it really excels. So guys, this is my vlog of the Honda City, the new City, the 5th generation with VTEC power, a new engine, you can call it iVTEC, and trust me, iVTEC kicks in your each and every given moment when you're looking for some additional oomph. Once you get past 4000 RPM, it wakes up and it jolts you ahead. It doesn't rev fast, okay? It takes its own sweet time to reach the red line, but that's the pleasure, It's nothing like premature. It's all so well calculated, so well done, taking its own sweet time, so you enjoy the moment. You enjoy the whole process of hitting the red line. Okay, you have to be mentally prepared. You know what? I'm going to hit 7000 RPM because I will get that 7000 RPM while feeling. If you don't do that now, you're going to short shift because it doesn't rev that fast. And before you know it, it starts getting so vocal that you're like, okay, no, I need to shift a gear for sure. Anyways, here we are into second gear, and you can actually drive it in a gear higher all the given moment. Here I can freaking drive it in fourth. I'm in second. It doesn't judder, it doesn't feel uneasy at all because of the tall gearing, and yet the beautifully engineered powertrain. What a beauty. Absolutely sensational how Honda always manages its petrol engine so well without a freaking doubt. So while the world is going turbo, Honda's VTEC is still holding on to its own, and trust me, the magic was always there and the magic is still there. Here we are, second gear, and off we go. Such a pleasure every time you upshift now. The smile on your face is so wide that if I smile further now, my teeth would come out and pop out of the rear view mirror, unfortunately. But that joke did not make any sense, and on that terrible disappointment, it's time to end. Bye bye.